Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Before I go on, I want to mention that in the video's description you can find a playlist of my previous characters analysis and a playlist of my tier list videos starting from January 2020. Today we'll go over the launchers of Dissidia Final Fantasy over Omnia. Launching is a very unique mechanic for this game simply because it lets you raise your score very easily. Last year we've had a very long period where launching was the best strategy you could do for almost any stage, something that some people have found to become very stale very fast. Thankfully nowadays, even maxing out your score to 999,000 is something you can do without launching enemies. In my eyes, launching is a form of a luxury right now in the game, which is not needed but is never bad to have. Let me know in the comment section down below how many of these units you have in your roster ready to go. So let's get started. We've talked about Cloud a lot in the past, specifically when we talked about dispellers in the game. I think this goes to show how versatile of a character Cloud really is. For people that was doubting the rank I gave him, arguing it was too high for such an old character. Back to the topic. This time we're gonna focus more on his launching capabilities instead of how strong he is as a damage dealer. Cloud's main role is not launching by any means, but like I said earlier, it's always nice to have it in the back pocket just to boost your score if nothing else. He provides a total of 4 launches with his finishing touch, and you mostly want to use that whenever you want to refresh his buffs on him. As a bonus, you always get a guaranteed paralyze on your cross slash the next time you use it after a launch. Getting perfect launches with Cloud is kind of a dream, since the character himself is not a very speedy unit. In the future, Cloud gets a level 80 awakening along with an LD and a burst weapon, giving him even more utility and allowing him to delay all enemy units and also get free uses on his skills. Moving on to Cloud's childhood friend and forever in the friend zone, TIFA LOCKHART. TIFA as a character was never really in the spotlight before the Chaos era, but she became a powerhouse once she received her EX realization. More specifically, thanks to her EX packing quite a punch. A fast charging EX with a 1/3 delay and a launch, coupled with the fact that TIFA is a pretty speedy unit, it meant that you are consistently able to set up full party launches with her EX. She can take advantage of your support's seemingly dead battery turns by having them dump their brave on the air. Her very good HP plus alongside her 3 skill recovering bloom abilities and her fast EX makes TIFA last longer in a fight than what you can initially think, but she doesn't come without problems. Outside of her EX, her shaving potential is very limited, since her beat rush only has 3 brave hits and she also has 0 AoE capabilities, something that is becoming more and more relevant as we go further into Chaos. TIFA is a monstrous single target damage dealer and she can take advantage of your support's battery very nicely with her launch. There's not really much to say about ZIDANE right now or in the future. As he is for the time being, his EX, which is the source of his launches, is just a worse version of TIFA's or any other units which are able to launch with their EX. This little monkey does provide a very small party aura if you have his World of Illusions weapon passive, and thanks to his high speed, you will consistently find yourself in a good position to launch, but that opportunity won't come too often, since his EX is very slow. In the near future, ZIDANE gets his EX realization in a banner with arguably the best launcher this game has ever seen, KAIN from the Crystal Chronicles. Something that is very unfortunate for little ZIDANE, since no one will look at him twice, since he's in the same banner with KAIN. Maybe there's still hope in the far future for this guy, since Square Enix managed to turn even Kuja into a good unit, so fingers crossed for ZIDANE's LD and burst weapons. Like with Cloud, we've talked about Cecil in the past, more specifically in his EX Plus analysis a couple of days ago, so this time we'll focus more on him as a launcher. Cecil is not your ideal unit for initiating a launch, since he's quite slow and you need to meet certain requirements for you to get full value out of his Valiant blows. Getting Cecil below 50% HP is something you can do even more easily now that he has his EX+, but to maintain that you need to pair him with specific supports where you can control how much healing goes into the party, like Selfie, who can also help with his low EX. Honestly, if you want to use Cecil to the fullest, I would recommend using him with a 1 out of 3 EX plus Selfie. Cecil's launches are top tier in my opinion, since he initiates the chase while also battering the party equal to 50% of the HP damage he dealt to the enemy with his Valiant Blow. There's so many nice things you can say about LAYLE, the unit who single-handedly launched the chase meta, get it? Thanks to his kit and his ability to bloat any score, LAYLE was never really out of the picture even before his EX+. Okay, before I present all of the amazing things he brings to the table, let's get over with his only weakness in my opinion, his low skill count, which is noticeable on his energy gain, being one of his launch skills while the other being his EX. If you make sure each one of his energy gain skills gets full value with batteries and such, you won't even care about the use count. LAYLE offers some nice party utility in the form of his EX buff aura, and he's able to consistently battery the party, and of course we have to mention his force debuff, a mechanic that is unique to LAYLE, and it halves all enemies' HP values. His fast charging EX is not only a great AoE shave option, but it allows your team to set up launches consistently on all enemies, and it hits really hard. A 0 out of 3 EX plus LAYLE can guarantee your team will get score, but a maxed out LAYLE can completely destroy the stage for you score wise. LAYLE will remain the top launch option we have in the game until KAIN is released and blows everyone's mind. Now let's move to everyone's favorite Final Fantasy IV Dragoon, KAIN. Unfortunately for KAIN, he just can't catch a break in this game, always overshadowed by stronger units in the time of his release, the time of his rework, or the release of his EX weapon. His last rework came in the early Cosmos era, and to be honest with you, before researching for this video, I had forgotten that KAIN had his level 70 awakening. Right now, his only good feature is having high turn rate on both of his skills, meaning it's very likely for him to position favorably for an EX launch. That said, his EX is really slow, which means it won't come up too often, and his skill count is also low, leaving KAIN in the garbage corner of the game, along with many other forgotten units. To make things worse for KAIN, his few skills provide limited single target shaving, and like ZIDANE, his EX is just a very much weaker version of TIFA's. Noctis' main role is by no means a launcher like many units in this list, but this guy does so many things and launching is one of them. When Noctis was released in the beginning of the EX weapon era, he blew everyone's minds with his turn manipulation. Then he fell off the picture because as a pure DPS unit, his damage was not sufficient anymore. Then his Lost Chapter came back, he received a rework and a level 70 awakening, and with that Noctis was back on the top of the meta, with his follow-up attacks from every skill doing too much damage while being too turn efficient. Once again, he fell off due to his damage as a pure DPS, but a couple of months ago Noctis returned with an early X Plus alongside Aranea, and that alone was enough to overshadow poor Noctis. He's by no means a weak unit right now, though, as his EX Plus fixed most of his problems, gave him more damage on his EX skill, and more longevity thanks to him getting free skills. Thanks to his turn manipulation and his shooting star, he's able to set up launches back to back, since he launches his main target and sets every other enemy's chase HP down to 0. Noctis is not the easiest unit to play correctly, and I will not recommend a new player picking up this guy from the EX weapon shop, but once you put in the hours to master this unit, you can do some crazy stunts with him. In the future, Noctis receives yet another rework as well as an LD and burst weapons, which skyrockets him back to the top of the meta once again. Second to last in this list, we have Fang from Final Fantasy XIII. Fang's release last year marked the beginning of the 3 EX stages from Hell, her own, Deuce, and finishing strong with Agrias. I'm pretty sure most people remember Fang's stage more than they remember the character herself. But he's still in the game, guys, trust me. Just go on your character's menu and scroll down to the bottom. Jokes aside, the game hasn't been very nice to Fang since when she was released last year as a pseudo debuffer / pseudo launcher. She was outclassed by Faris in the first category and LAYLE in the second. She became one of the first units to get their EX realizations, and she also got a rework which made her good for a hot second there, but she completely fell off the map right after her lost chapter. She's actually a pretty good unit versus multiple targets, ideally 3 because I have the feeling that even 2 targets are not enough to get value out of Fang. She needs to be against 3 enemies to maximize the damage of her HP plus and her EX, as well as her Whirlwind, which is the source of her launches. That said, for you to initiate a launch sequence with Whirlwind, you need to be either breaking your target or attacking a broken enemy, which doesn't help Fang's case one bit. I feel like I could talk for a long time about how bad of a unit Fang is, but let's just say you have much better options than her in the game. Last in our list we have Sing from Type 0. I decided to leave this one out for last since she gets her EX realization next month. As she is right now, Sing is probably one of the worst characters in the game. Her EX skill is the source of her launches, as many units in this list, and it's actually quite strong. I think of it as a combination of Tifa's EX and Cecil's Valiant Blow, since it can delay the target while also battering the party based on 50% of the HP damage dealt, which is an insane way to start the chase sequence. Unfortunately for Sing, she's a very slow unit and her EX is also slow as well, which means she won't get to act as much in a fight compared to your other units. That is really bad because she needs to build her debuff stacks on the enemy to unleash her strong skills, and even if you manage to do that, her buff will be dispelled and you will need to start all over again. Sing is all over the place as a unit right now, but next month she returns with an EX Plus which fixes a lot of her problems, such as low skill count and low hit count on those skills, and most importantly her stun debuff. If you are a fan of Sing, then you should definitely consider spending gems on her Lost Chapter banner because she comes with Snow and his EX realization, making him the strongest tank in the game for quite a while. And that was it for our launchers. Honestly, I have a lot of fun researching about these units every time for a new video, and it also helps me understand the game and each unit better. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did while preparing for it, and I want to ask you what other niche role you want me to cover next. So far we did tanks, dispellers, and now launchers, so let me know in the comment section what would interest you. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video talking about Galuf and Leo. See ya!